Hey friends, Christy here with Little Roots Ranch, and today I am so excited. It is just past the middle of February, and today I wanted to share my seed haul for the 2025 gardening season. And so my plan is to spend a little bit more time talking about the big ones like tomatoes, of course, peppers, squash, and then going through all the other seeds I got too, like bok choy, for instance. Bok choy is bok choy. I mean, there are slight differences, but for the most part, but I think tomatoes are the ones that everyone really dials into. And not only that, but this coming year, I selected a seed house that, for their selections, picks primarily for seems like productivity as well as early maturing. And for tomatoes and peppers, that's so incredibly important. And actually, those two things are always my preference when looking for seeds. Always, number one thing I look for is early, and that's words like does better in cooler weather, anything bred by like Idaho, Montana, of course, Washington, Alaska, Canada, anything in a cold, short summer also fits the bill. And of course, the closer to the Pacific Northwest, the better. But also I look for prolific or vigorous or things like that. And for multiple reasons, primarily because I'm a canner and food preserver. And so, I do a lot of work in my garden, and I'd love to have a ton of tomatoes and a ton of peppers and a ton of everything else, right? And so those are always the first two things that I look for. And so historically, I've always purchased all my seeds from Johnny's Select Seeds, and then some seeds filled in from other places. And then every 4 or 5 years or so, I really like to try a new seed house. So I think in 2020, or for the 2020 gardening year, I did a huge order with Territorial, and I got to spend a lot of time with their varieties. And this year I had picked Uprising Seeds. They are up in Bellingham, Washington, and they grow most of their, or I think almost all of their seeds there, which is really awesome. And their selection isn't as, it's good size, but it's not as wide. But it appears to me, of course, this is my first year growing them, so I can only speak from the information on their website. But it looks like they really, really develop for, our shorter, not more mild season. And for heat-loving crops, that makes all the difference. Again, tomatoes, peppers, winter squashes, pumpkins, things like that really makes a difference. So I'm gonna go through all of those, and I made myself a little cheat sheet here so that I don't forget what I'm talking about. Plus, when you look at the seed catalog or the seed thing packet, there isn't a whole lot of information. So for tomatoes, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 that I'm trying new this year. I have 3 that are determinate. Those are ones that grow to a determined size and then put all their fruit out at once, which is great for canning or great for shorter seasons. I find that determinants are always more cold hardy in general. Then I've got indeterminate, which those ones, if we lived in Southern California, the tomato plants would live for a couple years. And then I've got those split by 3 cherries and 5 slicers. So getting into the determinate tomatoes. So I've got 3 of them. This is the first one, Leta, I believe it's called. So this one is a salad. It's determinate. The plant gets about 2 feet tall and is exceptionally prolific and very, 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 very bushy. I like having a small but productive tomato in my lineup because that way it doesn't steal the sun in the greenhouse from the next row. So usually I'll do like a row of determinates and then put indeterminates behind them, and both can receive excellent sun, whereas it's obviously doable with determinate, which grow really tall. Determinate, you just have to space them wider so that they can absorb all the light and stuff like that. So these are great for containers, by the way. If you're a patio gardener, container gardener, these are excellent for them. And they produce 2 to 4 ounce fruits. And they were developed by the University of Idaho. But here's the interesting thing about them. in their seed description, Uprising says that they generally plant out the third week of May, and usually by the very end of June, they are already harvesting these. And so that's a lot for a 5-week tomato. So I'm excited to try out and see if that happens for me as well. I don't know if I'll probably be last week of May. I don't know, it depends on what the temperatures are like. The only downside to these is that they have a propensity for green shoulders. So even when they're ripe, to me, that means absolutely nothing. But if you are selling for market or something like that, customers, they judge with their eyes. The flavor is good, but it just having the green shoulder. So for me, I don't care, but if that's something important to you, something to know. So that's later. Also, I'll be doing garden tours, and specifically with these varieties, the peppers and tomatoes, all summer, just to kind of show you how they're doing, because I'm really looking for the perfect varieties. Everybody knows I've been growing Juliet for my whole life, and I will be growing Juliets, don't worry. But okay, so next we've got Northern Ruby. Now, these are early and compact, and they're more of like a paste sauce tomato. And I am so excited for this one specifically. This was originally a Heinz, like the ketchup variety. And then a Montana grower kept it alive for 20 years. And now I have it. So I'm really excited to see how these taste. And the plants, they're just like the other ones. They're a little smaller. So they're 2 to 2.5 feet, and really productive. So these are one of the ones that I am most excited about. Okay, next I have, this is a hard name to pronounce, so I apologize if I butcher it, but it looks like it's Fiacchetto di Manduria. Did I do okay with that one? And so that is a paste. It's great for using for a paste tomato, for sauce or to dehydrate. And it's 2 to 3 ounce plum, super prolific. It's from southeast of Italy. And here's something I learned from their website that I thought was really interesting, is that the majority of like the San Marzanos and the Romas and all of that stuff come from the much hotter Mediterranean South, whereas these are from southeast Italy, which is not exactly, but a little bit more like our climate. And so it's easier to adapt seeds from there. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm excited too. Obviously, I love paste tomatoes. So that rounds out my 3 determinate ones. Now remember, those are the smaller ones. You can use those old school trellis, the little round ones, or maybe you can get by without them, but I always trellis everything just because otherwise it's a mess. So now I'm gonna move to indeterminate. And so those are ones that would grow forever if we didn't have like blight or killing frost or anything like that. And so, I've got 3 cherries: Galena, sweet orange, and black cherry. So 3 different colors because that's really important to me. Okay, so the first ones are Galena. And these are a yellow cherry. So these ones, I guess, do not crack, which if you are a cherry tomato grower and you grow in mass, you know that sometimes if a rain sneaks up on you and you come out and all the tomatoes are cracked, and that's okay, you just have to eat them really fast, but you can't sell them, you can't store them or anything like that. And so they also resist light frost a lot better, and after picked, last about a month or a little bit over. So the recommendation is to, when your cherry tomatoes are all in, to leave these ones alone, as they'll be just fine on their own. They said will not crack, I'll find out. And then get around to these when you can. So that's nice, I do like that. My next one is Sweet Orange 2, and that, of course, indeterminate, and it's supposed to be a good rival for the infamous Sun Gold. Now, I do love Sun Gold tomatoes, and when I grow them, I exclusively eat them out of hand. And so I am really excited to try a open pollinated option, because Sun Gold is a hybrid. Nothing wrong with that. I usually always grow Sun Gold, but this year I'm going to put a lot of faith in this one. And they're very sweet and juicy, but recommendation, they start to go, with all the sweetness, they start to go downhill about 3 days after getting picked. So if you're growing these or sun golds, the same thing applies. Make sure and get them down. They're not gonna hang out on your counter for a very long time. Okay, last one, I have to make sure I say it right. So this is a black cherry, but I think I'm always going to call, or I will try to call it black cherry. But several years ago, I got a chocolate cherry from Territorial, and those were just the absolute best cherry tomatoes I have ever had in my life. Like, I don't know how to necessarily compare them to sun gold, because sun gold is very sweet, and the cherry, the chocolate cherry, which I think black cherry is probably gonna be the same thing, I'll find out. It comes out to like a brownish color. But it's a little bit larger than a regular cherry, and the taste is like bright and fruity. Let's see, what do my notes say? It says wrong part. Very prolific and vigorous. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a different take, and I'm absolutely obsessed. I actually just ran out of the Territorial Seeds the year before, so I'm excited to try these. Okay. So that rounds out the cherry indeterminates. And next I have 5 slicers. And so I am really excited about all of these. So this first one is Roost Perfect. And these are half-pound fruits. And these were kept going by a biodynamic farmer, Ruth Zinneker of Wisconsin. Strong, vigorous, and blemish-free. They're slightly lobed red tomatoes. So, oh, there's a tractor in my backyard. Let me close my thing. There we go. I'm having somebody take down a tree for me today, and apparently they were here. Okay, so these are Roost Perfect, and so I'm really excited about that. It's, especially when you get into the bigger tomatoes or so, it's hard to find, like, looking for tomatoes that you can get a bunch right beforehand. So I'm hoping that maybe this will be the answer. If not, this is the other one that I'm really, really, really excited for. And this is Matina. Is there an R in there? No, Matina. And so this one does 4 to 6 ounce fruit. It's super amazing taste. It's a dry farm winner and a taste winner. And so dry farm winner means that they have those trials down in Oregon and trying to grow. You have to spread the plants out more, and dry farming is exactly what it sounds like, non-irrigated farming. And it's really exciting. Obviously I do irrigate, but it's nice to irrigate less. And the plants have been bred to have super extensive root systems that support the plant better, because the roots go out and spread out and all that stuff. And it sets really early and continues setting all the way through fall. Classic round shape. It's red. All of my slicers are red. But here's what's interesting. According to Uprising, in 2016, which was a warmer year, I believe, but in 2016, from 30 plants, they said that they were able to get about 400 pounds of tomatoes. So I'm really excited to see if I can recreate this. So between this one and the old Heinz variety, I'm really excited about those the most. All of them equally, but those two are the top ones. Okay, then we've got Italian Heirloom. And this one is a sauce tomato. So these are about 3/4 to 1 pound fruit, early and prolific, very productive for such a large variety. They said that they have like potato leaves, and so the bush or the plant, whatever, isn't as bushy. And so where some people leave 1 liter, which honestly, I generally never do. I let them go bush habit, and that seems to work out. But it says to definitely let them go bush habit, or to have like 3 or 4 trainers so that they don't get sun scald. So I'm really excited to taste this one as well. All right, and then second to last, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce this one. This is Cor de Bu Albanja, I think, probably. And so this is great for sauce or especially roasted. And these produce 12 to 16 ounce fruit. They're from northern Italy. And so they're more adapted to our area, and they have superior flavor in maritime conditions. And they're an oxheart, which I love. It's like where they're kind of like bulkier up top and like kind of tapered at the bottom with slight lobes. So they're really neat looking tomato too. And then last but not least, so this one is from Territorial. I was at Christensen's nursery and I just thought, I know, okay, you guys are gonna laugh at me really hard. I have never grown this tomato before, and it's probably a tomato that you all have grown, and I've always heard about it, and I don't know why I haven't, but Berkeley tie-dye, pink Berkeley tie-dye, I feel like I always hear that it's like one of the most popular tomatoes, but I've never grown it. So I'm gonna do a few plants just because I feel like I have to try growing it because everyone else has grown it. So if you have grown the pink Berkeley tie-dye, let me know how you like it. Or if you've grown any of these other varieties, please also let me know because I would love a little bit of a heads up. As far as the Berkeley tie-dye, it's 8 to 12 ounce fruits. It's like a green/red/yellow fruit. It's an early semi-compact for an indeterminate and great tasting. I've heard that the flavor is really awesome. So, okay, moving on to peppers. They're a lot less here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 6 peppers, and I've got those broken up into sweet and hot. And I was born, interesting tidbit about me, I was born and raised in Southern California. So I can take a whole lot of heat. And that is depicted in my peppers because I have 2 sweet peppers and 4 hot peppers. And I love hot peppers. I don't have shishitos here. I still need to acquire those. So have no fear, I will have shishitos. I am always talking about if you are a new pepper grower shishitos. They grow really well here. They're really easy and they are very flexible. But okay, so my very first one is Jimmy Nordello. And so again, these are sweet peppers. And so this is a reliable, productive in cool weather. It's a frying pepper. It's pretty large, like 10 inches long, red and thin walls. It comes from South Italy, which as you remember is more closer to our weather than like the hot Mediterranean areas. And these you can eat them raw, fry, or roast them. So when you're buying peppers, one thing to note is specifically it'll talk about like how thick or thin the wall is. And that kind of helps you. So if you think of like a traditional bell pepper, that's very thick walled, right? And then something really skinny like a Thai chili or something like that is very thin walled. And then there's all kinds of things in between. But so this is a thinner walled pepper. And then the next one, this one I am so excited about. There's 3 peppers that I am really, really like the top of my list. And this is one of them. And this is Lesia. And so this one you need a stake. So it's a heart-shaped, heavily tapered, thick-walled. It goes from a green to red with black in it, but it's like I don't know why I can't make shapes apparently, but it's an upside down, here's a hair tie. It's an upside down triangle, but it's really fat at the top and then quickly tapers. And it's supposed to be exceptionally sweet, originally from Ukraine, super productive and great with roasting them or raw. So they look really beautiful. I'm really excited. I am always forever on the lookout for the ultimate bell pepper replacement. And I'm hoping this is it. So I'll find out, but hopefully this is it. Okay, now we're moving to the hot peppers. Now, I mentioned there were 3 of the list. I'm excited to grow all of them, but I'm most excited for 3 of them. And the first one is the Czech Black. Get that for you. Okay. And so this is it's a milder, slightly mild than a jalapeno, but still spicy, jalapeno type. But this one it's excellent. It goes from green to dark red. And Uprising said that it is their most productive peppers 10 years running. and bears weeks before all the other hots and medium walled. So it's their most productive pepper. I am really hoping that it is my most productive pepper. Okay, next one is Buena Mulata. Again, I apologize for any, my cat knocked down a box, for any incorrect pronunciation. So this is a cayenne type pepper. So here's the neat thing about this one. This pepper goes from purple to yellow, to salmon, to orange, to red. And it will have it's supposed to be like a work of art, where all of the peppers will be hanging at the same time, and some will be purple, some will be orange, red, and they're edible at all the stages. They taste more like a vegetable at the purple stage, and they tend more sweet and fruity at the red stage, but they are hot all the way through. So I am really excited about that because it's supposed to be just absolutely beautiful. You can have like however many colors from the single plant, and they're very tall, the plants, and very productive. So I'm actually really excited about that one. Then we've got this one, which is Asi Sivri, I think, I'm hoping. It's a cayenne type, and it's a red one, and it's great for short seasons. It's a tall plant with heavy, long, slender fruits. It comes from Turkey, and it's from middle to hot as far as heat, and it's great to make powder, flakes, and hot sauce. So I'm really excited about that one. Okay, last pepper. This one I'm also excited for, or one, it's in the top 3 of the top, 7 or whatever, 6. Okay, so this is Serit Gat, and so you have to stake this one. It's also a cayenne type, and it's long, skinny, and yellow, like a light yellow, and it's exceptionally heavy bearing. So you remember the Czech Black? It's their most productive, running 10 years, and this one rivals it. And so it's great. It's from Austria, and it's great for hot sauce, powder, and just cooking with it in general. So I'm really excited because I love to have productive peppers, and I love peppers that do well in our climate and all of that stuff. So, okay. So next, this one will go a little bit faster through. This is the last of the more broken out, detailed selection, but these are the squashes. And so it's broken out into winter squash, pumpkins, summer squash, and then I have one gourd. Okay, so this one is a winter squash, and it is Oregon Homestead Sweet Meat. And actually, one of you, just within the last couple weeks, had asked if I'd ever grown sweet meat, and I had said no. And rave reviews were had. So when I saw it, I picked up a packet. So these are about 115 days. They're blue. They keep 6 to 7 months, which is something that's important. It's great for pies or eating fresh, and each plant is supposed to produce 2+ fruits weighing 10 to 20 pounds with long vines. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Then we've got Burpee's Butterbush, and those are 90 to 100 days. That's a butternut. It's hard to grow full-size butternuts here, and I haven't found one that was absolutely amazing. I've grown the personal ones before, but nothing that was, so I'm excited to try it. This one is like, it produces 2 to 4 ounce fruit, very compact bushes, but full-size yields. And the flesh is deep orange, and it's the best tasting, most productive, and it has a small seed category, so you get more flesh. So that sounds like a tall order. I'm definitely hoping that it delivers on that. All right, next one is the Bitterroot Buttercup, and that's 95 days, and it's like a gray, green, blocky type of squash. It is Montana bred. It stores well. It's short season production, and it produces 5 to 6, 3 to 4 pound fruit with outstanding flavor. And you can use it to make it's great for roasting, soups, and gnocchi. I've never made gnocchi with squash. So if you have, please give me any tips, but I am excited to try that. Okay, then there is this one. And this one I am actually pretty excited to try as well. Okay, so this is from Territorial. But this is their Thelma Sanders sweet potato, and it's a beige acorn squash. So it's not the most beautiful, but it's super sweet, delicious, best tasting, and highly productive. Stores well, and the fruits are about 2 to 3-ish pounds each. Those are from the reviews, not from the seed house. So I'm excited for that. Looks like it doesn't win any beauty awards or whatnot, like Starry Night or whatever, but the reviews were really high about it, so I'll find out. All right, pumpkin. I'm only growing one pumpkin. I really like, I don't remember what it's called from Johnny's, but it's like a tall, I like more tall pumpkins as opposed to like round pumpkins, but this is a popular pumpkin. I've grown this kind before, not from Uprising, but it's Howden, and it's 110 days. It's a prolific jack-o'-lantern type, averaging about 15 pounds. It's a carving pumpkin. It's a little too watery and bland to use in the kitchen, though I have, but great for chickens or any other animals that like to eat it, or to making soup bases or something like that. All right, then we're gonna go to summer squash. And so those are, I've got dark star zucchini and then an early prolific straight neck squash. Obviously, this one is botanical interest, and these kind of fit into that category of zucchini is a zucchini is a zucchini. There are differences, obviously, but my video would be a billion hours if I went through each and everything. Then the next one, okay, I have been on this long mission to grow loofah. And last year I actually started loofah seeds maybe 3 times, and I got on the list at Christensen's to get starts. I'm still on there because they didn't end up calling me, but I am on a mission. It takes a long time, and they grow really big, like 20 feet long vines or whatever, but I am so excited. So I hope this year is the year that I can actually grow loofah, because I would very much like to have organic sponges. That's what I'm most excited about. Okay, as far as cucumbers go, I have lemon cucumber, because this is Ed Hume, because they're so exciting. But I told you before, I always grow Asian cucumbers. And so this one says it's smooth skin, long, slender, like English cucumbers, crispy and juicy with no bitterness. And that's kind of what I find. I have not grown this one before. It's Shintakiwa. I've not grown it before, but I have really high hopes. And then for eggplant, I'm actually trying 2, because I've always grown Johnny's eggplant, and it's, I believe, Oriental Express, but I could be wrong on the name. But I'm gonna try these 2, which is Diamond and Ping Tung Long, to try and see which one I like of those, to find an open pollinated one. For tomatillos, I'm doing the Milpa, which is a tomatillo also from Uprising Seeds, and that is a purple one. I love what's it called? Tomatillos, and like making salsa verde and all that stuff. All right, for broccoli, I'm doing Umpqua from Uprising. It's hard to find an open pollinated variety, because a lot of the hybrid ones have been bred for like the superior quality. So I'm gonna try it. I also use it a lot for the side shoots. And so I hope it's as productive as hybrid varieties that I'm used to growing. So we'll see. For summer cabbage, I'm growing Columbia. And so that's like a shorter cabbage as opposed to an overwintering cabbage, which is different. I'm growing rutabaga. And funny story, I have never grown or eaten a rutabaga, and I feel like I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and I don't know, like I've never had it, so I want to try it. And then for spinach, I'm doing New Zealand spinach from Ed Hume. And so this was my friend, it says heat resistant summer spinach. So my friend always grows it, and she said that she cuts it all summer long. And my spinach definitely bolts. All the spinaches I've ever had bolt. by the time that the heat really rolls in. So I'm gonna plant it in a semi-shady spot, but I'm gonna give it a try. Also with these varieties, I'm gonna try and stick to them, but I do have plentiful seed from all the other years. Okay, for kale, I'm doing Dazzling Blue, which is a robust, cold hardy lacinato type with dinosaur, I prefer. I wish they'd just all call him dinosaur because I love that name better. With striking magenta midribs. So I'm excited. This one is bred from an Oregon farm at Avoca Farm. And then I love me some Asian greens. Always have, always will. What I eat all spring and also slightly into summer and then fall long. So this is just a tot soy. It says dark green rosettes of mild succulent leaves, excellent raw or sauteed. And then bok choy says tiny seeds to 1.5 pounds in a month and a half. Tall, robust variety. I love bok choy. And then, okay, so we're getting close to running out. So this is a corn, I'll tell you right now, it does not win any beauty awards. So this is Tuxana, something like that. And so from Uprising, it says well-bred and soulful with compelling creaminess, classic sweetness, white kernels. The corn itself, I'm sure it's delicious. It looked, I don't know, it just doesn't look very appealing. But this was their only sweet corn that they had. And I thought that was interesting. And so I had to grow some. I think in previous years I've grown, I forget what it's called. It sounds gory, but like butcher blood or something like that. It's a red corn, but it's not a super sweet corn. It's still sweet, but not a super sweet, but it's edible at all the stages. And so I've fed it to my chickens. I've eaten it fresh. I have ground it up, you know, like it just, and I think it makes like semi-low quality popcorn, but it does make popcorn, you know, but it's not, it's made, so it does everything at like 80%, if that makes sense. And for me, that kind of works out pretty good. Okay. So then I've got, let's see, I am really getting heavy on beans and peas this year. Beans, because if anybody in this whole world knows me, you know how many beans I like. Sorry, I thought the back air was on fire, but I realized it was the safety orange. How much beans I just, they're my favorite. And so I'm growing the same ones I grow every year for the Hummers, but I also like harvesting them. These are the Scarlet Runner beans. You will have hummingbirds eating from the vines. These are pole beans. I love growing them. And then I'm also trying a bunch. So as far as the dry bean ones, let's see here. I've got, what is it? Horto and Rattlesnake. And these are all pole, well, the ones semi-bush, but I prefer pole personally because I do have trellis available and I like to fit more into my garden area. And these are drying beans, but then also doing for canning, what is the Blue Lake pole beans? Because I love canning those. These are some dry beans. So these ones are from Uprising. And so I'm really excited. So this one is Calypso. And it is a bush bean, sorry. And it says, these beauties set abundant fruit even in cool seasons. Steaming chili awaits you. Yum, lots of chili. And this one is Pellegrini. And I'm really excited about this one because it says it's a prized gray, brown, and white bean of Seattle. Food legend Angelo Pellegrini grew these. He was like a top chef or something. So I'm really excited about that. As far as my peas, I have them separate because I will be soon, as we get to the end of February, we'll be planting my peas. Let's see here. So I've got, oh man, I've got so many kinds because I'm trying to figure out which ones I like the most. So as far as snap peas, I'm gonna grow these ones, the Sugar Snap, and these are pole. And those are just for generally eating out of hand. But then I'm really focusing on trying to find a shelling pea that I love the most. So these ones are Lincoln and Tall Telephone, and these should all be pole, believe, because like I said, I like the pole. Well, this one's a bush, but, and then there's also Green Arrow. If you have grown that one, let me know how that works out for you. And then I've got a bunch of miscellaneous seeds that I need to get started. So I'm doing some evergreen white, this is Ed Hume, evergreen white bunching scallions that I need to, onion, whatever, that I need to get started. And then garlic chives as well. And then, oh, this one is called Lilac Pom Pom. It is the fuzzy, I've only seen a picture, but it is an exceptionally fuzzy, light purple lavender poppy. And I like poppies. I love light purple. So that's why I'm growing that. Ooh, this one's called Double Diamond. It's a pearly yarrow. So again, this is just for flower or potential medicinal reasons, but I love yarrow in general. And this one is like, you know, if you're familiar with the yarrow flower, this one's like a pom-pom. So it looks like almost snow kind of. So I'm gonna get that one started. And then we're almost through, almost done with the seeds that I've purchased new this year. I'm trying Uprising Seeds Gold Chrome, but it's a dill, because obviously can't make pickles without amazing dill. I got, this is from Botanical Interest, Zinnia. It's a giant purple flower, just because I love purple. And so when I see that, and I got some comfrey for just planting around the orchard when it goes in, and then some mullein, I think it's called, because it's supposed to be really great for making tea and stuff like that. So okay, so these are all the seeds that I've purchased thus far and will be the bulk of the garden, and I am so excited. I think the biggest emphasis is most everything does amazing here, but most specifically the tomatoes, peppers, and winter squash are things where we have a long growing period, but not all of it is super warm. And so trying to find the best varieties. So I'm hoping to do just that and report back with what I have and all of that. But if you've made it this far, congratulations. I super appreciate you watching the whole video. If you have any input on any of the varieties that I have or any of the varieties that I absolutely should try, I am most definitely would welcome that feedback in the comments. And thank you for watching. I hope we've got all your seeds, and happy gardening. Bye.